going on, YouTubers? Moparman 1978 out here on another day off working on the Valiant. So let me show you what I'm going to be working on today, or what I've already got done. Got the new timing chain set on, and okay, so what I did was I've been studying the how to rebuild and modify the Slant6 and little upgrades and stuff and whatnot. Some of the stuff I already knew, some of the stuff I learned from other people, including Professor P / Shane over at Slant Daily Garage, etc. This one here, I got this out of the modify the Slant6s. Used my drill press, took this big factory washer with the factory nut for the cam, took it back to my drill press. I used started off with lined it up and used a step bit. I bolted it down to the bottom because there's a hole in the middle of the flat plate on the drill press. Bolted it down, lined it up, drilled the hole down, and then I started using other drill bits and basically countersunk a hole in the nose of this bolt, or the head. And a lot of people don't know that on these Slant6s, when the engine's running and you rev it up, or if it goes under load while it's in the vehicle going down the road, this whole assembly, the camshaft, wants to move forward and backwards, and that's what causes a lot of the wear and tear on the chain and the sprockets and the bearings, etc. Anyway, so I had to improvise on this. I had to buy the $30-some gear puller set from Harbor Freight, and pulled the old one off. It was stuck pretty good. I think somebody used a old Cloyts sprocket up top, a new one and a new chain, and then they left the old sprocket from the factory on there because this is CID or DID, whatever, as you can tell right there. Anyway, it's got a whole new Cloyts set up from O'Reilly's for like $40-some. Anyway, in the how to modify Slant6s, you put this indentation in here, this countersink, and then you use okay, here's another little tech tip too I learned right here. They use like a die grinder, like a Christmas tree or cone shaped bit. I just use a step bit, and basically what you do is, here's my nice clean timing chain covered. Somehow it already got a nice big scratch chip in the paint already. I'm going to be repainting this anyway because I got a modification to this. I got in a hurry, wanted to get it painted and whatnot. But anyway, you see this little hole right here next to the regular bolt hole? That is this hole right in here that I'm pointing at. And what you do is you widen this to the next size up, along with this one over here, and that's where the dowel sticks out off the engine block. And what that does is it allows a little slack, and they said what you want to do is make sure you get the oil up the seal here and on the snout of the crankshaft, and you slide this on, and when you slide it on, you get the bolt holes all lined up. Then it'll be lined up perfectly. The seal will be lined up perfectly, because you can't always trust the factory holes that are made for the dowels to go through, because sometimes it'll cause uneven wear on the seal. Okay, I didn't know that either. So that's another tech tip. Once you get it on there and it's flush, then you can bolt it down. Now here's the other modification. They went ahead and on the outside they ran some type of special threaded stud or something like that and welded up a piece on the inside, and they used a cone-shaped spring with a ball bearing on the end of it. I really don't trust this because you're supposed to weld that onto the end of that spring, and that spring is about as thick as a brass coat hanger wire. And I don't know, maybe you could set it down inside there, but I think yeah, I'll probably make the same mod. Well, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. It's either going to be that type of deal or... Okay, so here we are at the back of my dart where the drill press is at, and what I was thinking about doing is running this stud that has threads that go all the way up to the head. It's grade 8 anti-rust coated stud. Drilling a hole down in here so far, and then using a bigger bit to basically put a countersink hole in there, and then here's a donor. In the book they said that they donated the ball off of the push rod, factory push rod, and this one happens to be an old comp cam ball on the end of this push rod here for a small block Mopar. But anyway, what I was thinking about doing is countersinking that and then welding that ball bearing around the top of the base of that, and then drilling. You have to drill a hole here and making it just a little bit wider than this, or the threaded here, and then welding a nut on the inside, and so it can be adjusted out, and then have another nut on there to lock it into place. But the spring might be a better way to go because it'll be inside that that little hole, or I should say cylinder there, and it'll have pressure up against the spring and the ball bearing, and the ball bearing will rest up against that stud on the front of the camshaft, and then that spring, I guess it would allow like a suspension, like a shock absorber effect. So when the cam wants to push forward, it might allow it to do it a little bit and then push it back. I just don't know. It just that spring, you know, it's probably got good coil strength, but it just seems thin enough that if you've got that much pressure and that thing spinning like that, I would just think that spring would probably snap in half, or where you welded it would be hot, and it would get the temperature of, even if you spot welded that or you TIG welded that on there, maybe it would make that one particular spot underneath the ball bearing where the spring is weak, and it would snap off, and you'd have a bearing rolling around in your oil pan. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is to maybe do it like mine, but leave a little bit of slack between the bearing, the ball bearing, and the front of the timing cover, and then that way it can go back and forth a little bit when it wants, but it's got a stopping point. But I'm going to run this by Shane. I'm going to send him an email. I want to get your guys' opinion in the comment section. If you don't know, but you know of somebody that might know a little bit more information on this. There we go, focused. Sorry if I was unfocused the entire time. Here it is. Apologize, this phone's been doing weird stuff today. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if you can see that picture that well, but yeah, there's that weird cap looking thing on the outside of the timing cover, and then on the inside it looks like there's a welded tube, and then that cone spring goes down inside that metal tube with the ball bearing welded on the end of it. And or maybe it's not even welded, maybe it's just laying there. I don't know. I'll have to reread the all the information again on this page just to make sure. But yeah, anyway, that's that modification. Stay tuned and for another video. So it'll be, I'll show you what I decided to do and show it the timing cover back on the engine and whatnot. Till next time.